introducción en castellano, porque para quedar en el contexto local, porque hay personas también de fuera. Entonces, para las personas que no estaban ayer, aquí estamos haciendo un curso de verano dentro de una investigación más larga, a largo plazo, titulada Rurapolis, que es un proceso de investigación sobre el territorio transfronterizo entre los Pirineos Atlánticos en Francia y Navarra y Aragón en España. Pueden ver ahí en esta pequeña exposición que montamos ayer con los estudiantes que se apuntaron a este programa de Rurapolis, una cartografía que enseña este territorio. Dentro de este proceso de investigación estamos averiguando el tema de la despoblación, analizando un núcleo de alrededor de 30 pueblos despoblados dentro de la región de Navarra, teniendo en cuenta que en Navarra contamos con más de 100 pueblos abandonados y también con la reactivación de algunos de estos pueblos. Entonces, el tema que nos interesa esta tarde es ver cómo se puede reactivar y rehabilitar el patrimonio rural. Al lado de esta investigación, también estamos realizando un taller de construcción en tapial, en tierra cruda, en el pueblo abandonado de Egüés, y este taller va a empezar mañana con los estudiantes internacionales que se apuntaron al curso. Y como estamos 20 personas con 3 personas que vinieron de fuera, voy a pasar al inglés, porque tenemos que hacer la charla en inglés como muchas personas no hablan castellano. Así que es que me casco y paso al inglés. So the Rurapolis project is located on both sides of the Pyrenean mountains chain, and so tonight we're very glad to have with us, in the framework of this Summerschool Rurapolis, 2 architectural offices who dedicate their energy and also their talents, each one on one side of the border. So first we will have a lecture of Orekari Estudio. Xabi is representing the studio tonight, and Xabi is also there. Orekari Estudio is an architectural cooperative based in Pamplona, and I had the great pleasure also to develop a project during the last 5 years, which is called Repensar la Periferia, rethinking the periphery. And there are also, Orekari Estudio is also among many other very interesting projects involved in the collective eco-building rehabilitation process of the depopulated village of Zabalza. And so I think you're going to present the project you're doing right now with the community in Zabalza, which is a village located at about 20 minutes from Pamplona. Orekari Estudio is, as I said, formed by Xabi Urroz, Iturrios que está aquí, sorry, I want to Spanish again, Iturrios, and Joao de Villa, who is not present tonight, but the three forming Orekari Estudio. And then we will have the lecture by Anna Schaffer from the collective Encore, who will show us reinvented rurality through a cartography of public and private projects in the Béarn region and also in the French Basque Country. And also a very interesting reflection on infrastructures and ways of living in a rural area with a kind of manifesto of rurality. Maybe you're going to say more later. And it's a great honor to have these 2 entities talking about rurality with us tonight. And also to conclude, I have to say that this Summerschool Rurapolis has been made possible by the support, as well financially and also administratively, from the Architecture School of Versailles in France, where I'm realizing actually a PhD, and also with the support of the municipality of Pamplona, which is letting us doing this event in this really great building, which is the Condestable, and also with the collaboration of the municipality of the Valle de Egüés, where Egüés, the abandoned village, is located. So this morning with all the students we made a big walk from one periphery of the Valle de Egüés, of the Egüés Valley, until Egüés. So they had the chance to discover this territory with their own feet and giving a lot of energy. So thank you, muchas gracias, y dejo la palabra. And maybe if you've got some questions. question, I would suggest that we make the question row after the two lectures.
First of all, I apologize for my English. And I don't use it very often, so I'm sure there will be things that maybe you don't understand because the pronunciation you can ask Salomé or ask later or maybe more, but I will try to do my best. Okay. So, Salomé explained a little. We are Orekari Estudio. We are an architecture studio. We are a working cooperative. We think it's also important the legal form, because we try to not just in our office to be in an horizontal way of working, but also we will see in some architectural projects where we believe in that kind of structures. To say it. What I'm going to explain, it's more than our architectural projects and design, a process in a little village. More the methodology they use to repopulate that village, not so much the project we build or we design. If you are interested in them, you can ask later, and I'll be glad to answer the questions, but that's the end. We have also a little another. We are going to explain. I'm going to explain two projects. They are very different, but they have something, two things in common: the rurality and the abandonment of rural areas. They have two of them. They have that in common, but in different scales. So. But first of all, I would like to explain two concepts. One of it is auzolan. Auzolan is a Basque word to say building in community, for example. We will think it could be a translation. This word came from Basque. Also means neighborhood, land means work, so it's like working for the neighborhood, by the neighborhood, working together to build something for the community. So it's a working system. It's done in community and for the community. Traditionally, the auzolan has been carried out for jobs for maintenance works, for repairing paths, repairing roads, repairing common areas, repairing common buildings, community buildings, repairing churches. That was traditionally made. It is actually a self-built, kind of self-built, self-construction. I will explain a little bit later what we think about self-construction. And it is a self-construction, but not for yourself, but for others and part of the community. So this is a project just to explain the auzolan word. It is a playground for a school here in Zurich, near Pamplona. The project was to, excuse me, the last. Yeah. The project was to expanding the playground towards the mountain. So the playground was really, it was out of concrete. You just had a football court, we have mountains and nature, but not in the school. The school was really rural, really strong place. So talking with the municipality, the lands behind the school, the lands to the mountains were from the council communal. So we reached them and we tried to build a playground. This, and see, I'm sorry, I'm working. So we think it's very interesting for us. For the municipality, they wanted to make it in Amsterdam because, first of all, they didn't have enough money to contract some construction workers. But for us, it was an opportunity because we think that when you build things in Amsterdam with the community, what you are doing is, in one hand, you are generating that community, you are joining the community, you are the relationships between the people involved in that work got stronger, you know. When you work together with other people to reach one interesting thing, one thing that you think that is interesting for the village, you get stronger as community. So it was really interesting for us. In the other hand, self-construction is kind of do it yourself, but with buildings. So we also see that really, really interesting. Legally, it can be complicated sometimes because here, at least, a construction site is a restricted area where only professionals, trades, professionals with social security insurances can go in. Here, for example, it wasn't a construction work because we built some wooden elements like furnitures, and the councils also have some insurances to do that kind of work. So the people working there were covered by that insurance. So sometimes legally you have to find a way, but when you are building your own home, it's different. At least in the Spanish law, you can do it if it's your own home. So it's also a restricted area, but you can work on it. So it's easier self-construct your own home than other things like that. That you have to find a way. In self-construction, when you are constructing your own home, we think it's really, really important to know what your capabilities and your limitations are. We think the best way is to hire professionals from each trade and try to help them and learn from them and become their helpers or their apprentices, and then when you and little by little you are gaining experience, and then you start becoming more independent. But we think that's the way, and you have to know your limitations and your capabilities. We will see later, maybe here, a little bit later. We design in the same village different houses, and they are different. They have different construction systems because of the capabilities of each customer, each client. We will see it later. But we think that's the way. Self-construction is also for us really interesting because it provides much deeper understanding of the building. when someone's built a thing and you are just user, you don't go so deeply in the building. You don't know so much about your building. And if it is your own home, I think that's really, really important and really interesting. You know the strong points of your home, also the weaknesses. You know where the bags are. You know where if you see a crack in a wall that you did, you know why it happened. And I'm sure that in the end of the construction of your house, you will be able to repair it because you have learned a lot and you know where all the bags are. Maybe you won't finish a wall like a professional, but you did it and you know why it's not so well done. So you understand that, but also you understand the work of a professional. You know the work that's behind. You understand the trades and you value them. It's really important to value those. The old trades for us are really, really important. So there you have that learning. And yeah, I think that's a little bit what we wanted to do before explaining the Sorokin, because Sorokin is a little village, as Salomé said. It's I think 20 kilometers from Pamplona. It's quite near. I think that's one of the points of its success, maybe not the only one, but it's near Pamplona, so it was easier for the first inhabitants to go from the city to the close rural place, not so far. Here we have in the Pyrenees places that are like 1.5 hours, maybe 2, and it's more complicated maybe. That's one of the points for me, but not everyone. It's located in the city Valle, you can see. Here is Pamplona, but City Valle, but City Valle is here, so quite near. And so why started that project? We think that it was there were some families who were really tired to living in the city. I think also the economic crisis was there, and it was really difficult to access to a dwelling, to a house, to develop here for some families. And they decided to look for new ways of living. And it was great because the first inhabitants of Sorokin came from, they participated in some projects in the city that they were common projects, they were community projects. There were some really interesting associations, projects, like Hazard, for example. It was a building where it was empty also, it was destroyed. We repaired in community and we started to use it in community. And some of them were the first inhabitants of Sorokin, so their background was also that kind of thinking. And we were there and we received Sorokin was, you can see here a little bit the development of that abandoned process. Here it was, the abandon started in 1960, more or less. Here we have, okay, here it was full, quite full, all the full it was, moment. And then it started to get empty, in 1960. Why? Because of the industrialization process. In Spain, in the 50s, 60s, it was like a top of industrialization. Many people from the villages went to the city. Because it was needed a lot of work, a lot of workers. So the many villages started to get empty. Here we can see in 1998 how here the nature started to make their way. Here we can see some ruins, and little by little it's getting more and more. Yeah, you can see this roof is still up, but here it's down. It's also. And 2007, 2010. Okay, and in this moment, 2015, it was like that. All of the houses, with the exception of this house here, was this one. Because here there was one inhabitant, a really old man, that didn't want to go to the city, but in 2012 it was really old, and the family took him to, I don't know where, but to the city. So it was also empty. It was like that. And nine families went there, and they formed an association named Recasar. Why? Because they thought that the best way to do that was in a community, and here we have, like in Navarra at least, I think in all the Basque Country, it's really common to associate a lot. You have like one, I don't know, you can have one hobby, you make an association. You have a fight, you want, I don't know, you go against, but you make an association, you know? And yeah, it's really common to do that. Like when you join with other people and you have the same point of view or the same, how do you say, like meta? Yeah, the same objective. We do an association and we go for it, you know. I think it's a traditional way from some travel. So they make that because on one hand the village stopped to be a village. When you have less than, I don't know, if it's 15 inhabitants, you are not a village anymore for the government. So there are some things that you don't have the right to get, like some supplies and things like that. So if they wanted to be a village again, they had to make new streets, make a new supply network. So they decided to associate and start developing that. And that's the only part that they didn't do by household in community, by themselves, self-constructing. It was by hiring employees and contractors. That was the only point. Here you can see that there are, here it was abandoned until 2015, here 251, Now we can see some new houses here. You can see here it was really different. Here we have some houses. Here it's starting to construct another one. Here we have a new plot. Here we have a new plot, and this is going to be a new plot also. That they weren't here originally. They weren't originally, but this piece of land and this also were communal, were from the community. So they thought to do some new plots, to be more, to pay the streets, to pay the supplies, because that work was really expensive. So they were 9 and now they are 11 or 12, I don't remember. Because we have those 3-4 new plots. And it was possible to do that. It was better because more people, more. Yeah, we can see here. Yeah, this, I don't remember the exact year, but it could be, the 40s maybe. And this one, you can see now, this is the new building. This one is also new, and all of this. They also, as association, bought the church. And it was great, because the church, the company, they sell the church because there was no how do you say, cura, priest? What is it? Priest? No priest, no people, no nothing. So they say, okay, let's sell it. Have some money. I think that they sell it for 5,000 euros. It's not big, but it's a church. And they started to repair it. They started to repair it all together by also land, self-constructing, self-building, and now it's the social center of the village. And this was the first building they finished. They started and they finished. It was the first one, because all the construction license, everything, it lasted a lot. It's true that they repaired this without any permissions, but they were waiting for the real ones of their homes, so they started doing that. And it was great because we will see it later, and if you want, you can ask later. But when they were self-constructing their homes, some of them still lived in here, the city, in Pamplona. But some of them stayed there while they were self-building. Yeah, here you can see. This was the church, and then the church finished. Okay, not just in our project, because we just designed 4 of the homes in Turkey, but I think it's a little bit the philosophy, the way of thinking of all the projects, all the inhabitants. They want to be respectful with the environment. They want to use 0-kilometer materials. I don't know if in English it's like that, but materials from nearby materials. They try to use natural materials. They try to reuse the materials of the ruins of the buildings. That's a little bit the definition of the project of the home. Wooden structures, nude, lime, mortar. Here we can see building a roof in Salomé. And as we say, what we do here, we just have yeah, we also try to, I think it was interesting, maybe this one, because as I told you before, here you can see it's, here is like a big home, but they are two. The outside is similar, but the inside is like that. One of the parts, the construction system is very different from the other one. Why? Because of the capabilities of the self-builders. So first they have to know, they have to be conscious of their own limitations and capability. They have to tell us, and then we think about, okay, which is the best way for them to build. So for example, in this case, Julian, this guy here, I think, I don't know, many years ago he worked summer as a bricklayer, so he knew a little about that. This one, the guy here, Fermin, was a carpenter, but furniture carpenter. And okay, so we say, let's do that. So you are a carpenter, let's do a wooden house or building. And this one was out of brick, and then some natural insulations. So I think that's important. We also try to mix traditional construction systems and modern ones. For example, here we have those heavy framing. In some parts we have light framing. Maybe for some people here that's light framing is traditional, but not here. In this part of Europe, Europe, it's not so common to build like that. So we try to mix those systems. And then we think that also that building in community is really, a knowledge exchange, way to exchange knowledge. And we were very lucky because in one of the houses we designed, Wackernagel, I don't know if you speak to them about that. No? Okay. So it's also a working cooperative. There are two guys that try to teach people about bioconstruction. So they organized a workshop in one of the homes we designed. It was a summer. They started to construct it within that group for many people that wanted to learn how to construct in that way. And we think that's great. That's great because you have people interested in building something, they help you to build, but they are also learning a lot. And then in the future homes, they can use what they know in this kind of workshops. And then also, for example, this family, the one at the home here, they also use the social media, and we think that's great because on the one hand you have those exchange of knowledge, like more personal, more physical, but now with the social media you can expand it to the world. You know, they have a lot of followers. The followers do a lot of questions. They learn from the followers. The followers learn from them. Learn from us. We learn from them. It's great also. There are opportunity, and I think it's great to use it. And that was the same as before. We have a lot of things to say, but here, for example, okay, what happened while you are self-constructing? And okay, some of the families could afford to rent a flat here in the city, and when there, they construct them, but some of them not. And this kind of projects, this kind of self-construction projects are really long projects. The construction is really, really long. It could last, I don't know, from 2 years, 3, 4, 5 years. So what do? So they do, okay, we don't have classes in the windows, but we put a plastic and we go there. It's not legal because you have to have finished your home to go there. You need like a, how to say it, but paper from the government that says, okay, your home has all the facilities it has to have, and now you can go and live. But in small villages, I think that's one of the greatest part of small villages, that this kind of law that okay, it has sense sometimes, but sometimes not. So no one is saying nothing because it's so small that no one's going there. So it's okay, sometimes. And yeah, but what we wanted to say here is a little bit that have here that we think there are many ways to try to repopulate the rural that it's getting empty. As Salomé said, here we have like 100 villages empty. So this is one way, and we think it's a way that okay, this is not so legal to sleep in not finished home, but self-construction is legal. You have to know how to do it. You have to know which ones are their responsibilities, all of the insurance things, but it's possible that we can do it. And there are many architects also that they heard about self-construction and they escape, they go away. Because it's not easy at the beginning, but then you because they say, okay, and how can I, because we have a lot of responsibility about the building. If something is not well designed or if something is not well built, we as an architect, we have responsibilities on it. We do that, how to say, the elección de obra, like that, we have that kind of responsibility. So what happened here? For me, at the beginning, we were a little bit scared, but then it was what I told you before. Okay, I know this thing is not the best one, but they know it also. They know it also, and they know that if they have like some water or some cracks or something, they know why, because they know how it's built. I don't know how to explain, but it's not really the feeling and the conclusion for it. And I don't know, the time to explain this. Okay, this is just to photograph. This is another project in which we are involved, and this project is another scale. You can see it's a town, it's a village, Carca. It's here in Navarra. It has like 1,000 inhabitants, and what we did here is what we wanted to do is a rehabilitation and a regeneration project. But why? Because okay. Yeah, have here some plans. Okay. Because the historical center is getting empty, it's getting abandoned. And it's like a wheel. If it's getting more abandoned, it's getting also more dangerous because there are a lot of ruins you can see here. Not here. Yeah, but you can see how the buildings are. So, okay. So the historic center is getting empty, and people are living to the other bigger cities or to the same village, but to new homes. The new homes are in the out of the historical center. So the historical center is getting empty. The historical center is getting empty, and the buildings, some of the buildings are destroyed. So what happened? When the council see a building that is in danger of collapsing, they do an order to the owner to say, okay, you have two choices: rehabilitate it or demolish it. But you need money to do that. So what they do, they sell it to a people that they need a home. They are selling it really cheap, so those people, most of them immigrants, that they cannot afford a new home or a home or a better home, they are buying them. But they are buying them in a really poor state. They are trying to repair, but they are repairing as they can. They are self-constructing also, self-repairing, because they cannot afford another way of building it. So what we did here, the first phase, is a diagnosis of the state of the buildings. We visit, I don't know, 200, 100 buildings, one by one, to see the state. And we also are developing a participatory process in order to ask the people what is wrong in their places, what would they do, what can we do, and that's the first phase. With the diagnosis, we will go, the council will go to the government to ask money, but we think that the first thing is that diagnosis, that participatory process, and to see what's happening. And we will see, because we are here, and now it's going to start the second part of this project, and we will see how it goes. We will try to find new strategies, and we will see. So I don't know. Yeah, that was what I had to say, so I hope you understand. If you have some questions.